There is nothing more frustrating than being a team consistently in the mix as a playoff contender, but never really being a legitimate contender to win it all. You get a taste of the glory with an occasional deep run in the playoffs, but in the end you know deep down that the team isn't good enough to go all the way, and the season typically ends at the hands of a better squad. Getting over the hump for going from being a good team to a great team is incredibly difficult, but if you find yourself in the good category without ever taking the leap to great or even trying to do so after years, then more often than not, you see the team's best players get frustrated and try to leave for greener pastures. Winning a championship is what drives these competitors, and no matter how loyal someone may be, there's always a limit to how far their loyalty can take them, and this brings us to the topic of today's video. The Portland Trail Blazers are a team that directly correlates to everything that I just said in this intro, and after years of playoff appearances and a few deep playoff runs, they still have yet to make any significant strides to go from the good tier to the great tier as a team, and this offseason in particular has been a disaster for them. In this video, I'll be going over the necessary context into what got them to this point, what they failed to do that made this offseason so bad for them, and why Damian Lillard's future is more up in the air than it's ever been. Before we start though, it turns out about 60% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Ever since Damian Lillard got drafted by the Trailblazers back in 2012, the team has been a steady, consistent playoff team in a strong Western Conference. They missed the playoffs during Lillard's rookie season, but ever since then the team has had 8 straight playoff appearances in the Big Dance, and Lillard himself stepped into the role of being their franchise guy almost immediately. Every year, Lillard's gotten better and better, he's one of the best clutch scorers in the league right now, and he's done everything he can to lead them as far as they can go, but at the same time, he can only do so much. In those 8 straight playoff appearances, the Blazers have been eliminated in the first round 5 times, the second round twice, and they have one conference finals appearance in 2019 where they lost to a loaded Golden State Warriors squad. Obviously, there's no shame in losing to a team that talented, but after a while, the first round exits and disappointing showings by the team around you can weigh on you, and that's exactly what's happening right now. In an era of super teams and star players going out of their way to team up, Damian Lillard has been one of the few examples of guys who have expressed nothing but loyalty, despite surrounding adversity. Even in the super team era, we do still see loyalty get rewarded, as the Milwaukee Bucks took home this year's title, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who definitely had the option to seek out greener pastures elsewhere and potentially form a super team, but he chose to stay with the team that drafted him to try to build a winner there, and that's exactly what he did. Now, I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a bit of luck involved, as the Bucks did get taken to the brink of a Game 7 overtime against an undermanned Brooklyn Nets team. However, that's what sports are about. There's always a bit of luck involved in winning at the highest level, and you can only play against what's in front of you. So the Bucks are still an admirable moniker of how loyalty can pay off. The difference between the Bucks and the Blazers, though, is that the Bucks demonstrated to Giannis that they were willing to be aggressive and pursue options to improve the team, including trading for Jrue Holiday last season and being very active in the buyout market, and at the trade deadline adding pieces like PJ Tucker, who brings a toughness and winning skill set as a role player. Moves like that give reassurance to the team's franchise guy, and that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. Now, taking things back to the Blazers side of things, their front office has basically done the opposite of that. No big moves have been made, the additions that they have brought in don't really move the needle, and every year it ends up being the Damian Lillard show, with McCollum bringing hit-or-miss production alongside him in the backcourt. After the team lost in the first round for the 4th time in 5 seasons this year against the Denver Nuggets, several reports have said that Damian Lillard was fed up, and after several conversations with the front office, his wishes were clear in that he wants them to have a big offseason to improve the team. No trade requests have come by any means yet, but more than ever there is an urgency with Lillard and his frustrations with how the team is being run. He's had conversations with the front office about this in the past, obviously, but it never got to the point that Lillard expressed these things publicly like he did in a press conference while playing for Team USA. So with these things aired out in the open, you would think General Manager Olshey would be aggressive, right? Well, that's where you would be wrong. Let's go through now and take a look at how the team's offseason actually went down. Their big move was re-signing Norman Powell to a 5-year contract, but he was on the team last year when they lost in the first round, so it isn't exactly something that will take them to the next level. They then watched Carmelo Anthony, Enes Kanter, and Zach Collins leave in free agency, and in their place, they signed Cody Zeller and Tony Snell. Does that sound like a needle-moving set of acquisitions to you? Because it sure as hell doesn't sound like that to me. If we're being completely honest here, and I know this will be a tough pill to swallow, then we have to admit that CJ McCollum is the piece that needs to be moved in order to at least attempt legitimate change. The Lillard-McCollum pairing has been together for years now, and it's obvious that it isn't enough. Both players are unbelievable shot creators and scorers, and objectively McCollum has done a very good job as a number 2 guy, but there are no other options for big moves, and them as a pairing honestly hinder the team a lot defensively. A lot of focus tends to be on rim protection when we talk about defense, but both Lillard and McCollum struggle as perimeter defenders, and there's no better evidence of it than the Blazers as a team being ranked as the 2nd worst defense in the entire NBA last season. The Blazers have tried to make defensive-minded moves around them, such as adding Robert Covington, but ultimately, when your 2 best players are poor perimeter defenders, it doesn't matter how much the guys around them try to help. If they don't move McCollum, then nothing will change, and if nothing changes, then Lillard could be on the brink of forcing his way out of town. The issue, of course, is that General Manager Olshey is overly infatuated with McCollum and not looking to move him according to several reports. In all likelihood, the Blazers will go into next season with a very similar core of guys, besides the mediocre signings that they made in response to some other players leaving. And that is a recipe for disaster. Once Damian Lillard requests a trade, the team very well may get blown up before you know it, and rebuilding could be on the near horizon. It's a tough spot to be in for sure, but playing it safe rarely works out when you're in as urgent of a situation as this is, and if the front office isn't reciprocating that urgency, then they're basically telling Damian Lillard that they're complacent with being above average. Nobody ever wants to be stuck as above average forever. Competitors like Dame want to win it all, and based on the way this offseason has gone down, I just don't see Lillard getting any happier with the way that things are. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think is going to happen with the Blazers and the Damian Lillard situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.